Hey everybody, I am super excited to share a layout today. I will be using some Mintay papers. Before I get started with the project, I wanted to let you guys know about a little bit about the layout. It is a little bit different today. It has no photo, and that's because it is part of the Nomadic Soul Diaries challenge on Instagram. I will have a link in the description box to where you could check out all of the information over there. And it is a wonderful challenge. It's for 2019 to get your creative juices going and give you different challenges. Like I said, this month is no photo on your layout. All right, and I will have all of the supplies that I am using listed in the description box down below, so be sure to check it out. And if you are new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on notifications so you are notified every time that I upload a video. I do a live stream every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, so be sure to come join if you are able to. And if you haven't done so already, please give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. I love reading your comments and I answer any questions as soon as I can. All right, so I am starting off with some Mintay paper, and I added a coat of clear gesso, and then I'm going to add some white gesso sort of in the center of the layout. I knew that I wanted all of my embellishments and the focal point to be in the center of the layout, so I just kind of wanted it to kind of ground that all of those embellishments that I'm going to be adding. Then after that dries, I'm going to be adding some stamping, and first I use some gray archival ink, and this is really good because the archival ink is not reactive to water. So when I add the modeling paste or sprays or anything on top of it, it's not going to become a muddy mess. It will just stay as it is, and that's really nice. Especially with mixed media, because it's all about layering, and you layer stamping and then you can do modeling paste or any type of paste, and then a lot of times you'll put paint or sprays on top of that. So archival ink is a really good option for that. I'm also now using some StazOn ink, which I actually really like as well, and this again is does not react to water. All right, so I kind of kept the stamping sort of where I wanted all of my embellishments to be, so that it's just kind of peeking out little areas. I don't want too much stamping or too much black in the background, so I am just I kept it a little bit more towards the center. All right, so now I'm adding some paper paste with a Crafter's Workshop stencil and a silicone brush from Finnabair. And again, I am trying to keep all of the textures and the stamping and all of that sort of thing in the center of my layout, because that's where I know I want all of the embellishments to go. So I really just want the paste and the stamping just kind of peek out from all of the embellishments that I'm going to be adding a little bit later. One thing I like to do when I'm using modeling paste or any type of texture paste is smooth out the edges. I think this makes the project just look a little bit better and flow a little bit better together. And I really don't like harsh lines. I don't know what it is. I just like everything just to kind of blend together nicely and flow together really nice. And I think when you blend out some of those lines and some of that texture out into the paper, it just looks a little bit better. It's definitely a personal preference. It's just what I like to do for my projects. All right, so I am going to be adding even more stamping, and that paper paste is dry now. It dries fairly fast. I'm actually really surprised how fast it dries. And I am doing a technique called stamping off, or second generation stamping. That's when you stamp, or you put the stamp in the ink and then you stamp off on some scratch paper and then stamp on your project. That way you get like a muted tone of the color. All right, I am going to be embossing some chipboard pieces. I embossed quite a bit of pieces. I don't show all of them because I think that would be a little bit boring to show all of them. But they range from Blue Fern Studios and to Crafty Chipboard, I believe. And to emboss, if you are new to this technique, you need some sort of embossing ink. I like Versamark ink, and it is a very sticky ink, and it will stick to your, in this case, chipboard, and then you will add some embossing powder, and I'm using Ranger's super fine white embossing powder. And you'll take a heat gun and melt it. And I love the way this looks. It's very nice, crisp, white look. And I do it with a lot of my chipboard pieces. All right, so at this point, I decided that I wanted to use some Color Bloom spray. And then I changed my mind. But I did want to show you that I added the color and then I ended up not liking it. So I'm not going to show you that whole process, but I am going to show you how I added the embellishments, because in the end, when I change papers or background papers, I just kind of pick up all of the embellishments and just transfer them straight onto a new piece of paper, which I did everything that you saw in the beginning of the video to that second piece of paper, if that makes sense. But I am just adding all of my embellishments, like I said. So this is a resin frame from Prima, and these are some Prima flowers. I'm not exactly sure if you can get the flowers anymore. I'll try to hunt some down and leave them in the description box for you. A link for them in the description box for you. I am using Fabri-Tac glue, which is one of my favorite glues to use, especially for projects like this where I'm not exactly sure where I want things. I have a little bit of playtime with the glue. This is another chipboard piece that I embossed, and I believe this one is from Too Crafty Chipboard. And then you see here's my thread. But we'll call it string. And I added it behind some butterflies that I cut out from some of the papers, from the Mintay papers. I really love these butterflies. They're so pretty. And I add one on top and then one on the bottom, and I added string to both of them. And it's just some upholstery thread, which I kind of wind up on or wrap around my hand and then kind of pull apart and just kind of bunch up behind the butterflies. All right, that is another Prima flower, and then I'm going to add this little butterfly. But first I wanted to see if this other chipboard piece that I embossed, it's a word, I think it says dream. I ended up not liking that, so I did add the little butterfly to the center there. And then I'm going to add some more Prima flowers, and I absolutely love these flowers. They are very concentrated color in the center, and then lighter on as they go out on the petals, and I really like the look of them because it gives a lot of depth to the flowers. And I'm going to add even more upholstery thread. I love the texture that it gives, and just kind of messy look. All right, so even more flowers. And again, these are Prima flowers, and I will try to find links to them so that I can add them in the description box for you if you want to pick some up. And I love these little cabbage roses, I believe they're called. They're so cute, except the leaves, as you can see. It got some glue on my finger and I was trying to get the leaves off. But anyways, I think now is the point where I decided that I did not like any of that Color Bloom spray, so I did everything as I did in the beginning of the video on this paper, and now I'm just adding the embellishments back onto this paper here. So I will add the stem roses, or stem flowers I think they're called, and then the little cabbage roses, And then I am going to add some dry brushing onto all of the flowers. I think this really makes everything flow really nicely together. And I love the gesso on top of the flowers. I just think it just makes everything come together. All right, my Fabri-Tac glue is running out, so just bear with me for a second. And I will add that flower there. And then I am going to add some more dry brushing on. And the dry brushing technique is really simple. You just need a dry brush, and so not wet with water or a ton of gesso or paint on it. And then you put a little bit of gesso in this case and just basically lightly go over the top of whatever you want to dry brush. So it's really simple. And now I'm adding some splatters with the Picket Fence Distress Spray. It is my favorite thing to use when I'm adding white splatters. It's very pigmented and it's lasted me so long, so I really like using it. All right, I tend to use the nozzle to add splatters, but in this case I wanted to add little tiny splatters, so I took a little paintbrush and I'm just dipping it into the bottle and adding the splatters that way. All right, so I decided that I wanted another chipboard piece, so I added, it's like a circle with little hearts on it, and I believe it's from Too Crafty Chipboard, and then I'm going to add back on the butterflies. So you could see here, just adding those butterflies back on. And then I'm going to add some of these Melange pebbles, I believe they're called. And I'm just adding a little bit of white gesso so that they are not clear anymore. I didn't want them clear, I wanted them white. And I will kind of tuck them in behind flowers and just to give a little bit more texture and interest to the project. So you can see here, I'm just kind of tucking them underneath the flowers just to give the layout a little bit more texture and dimension. All right, so I am using, again, the Fabri-Tac glue to do this. And I think I tucked 2 behind on the bottom, and then I think I use 3 on the top. The rule is to use odd numbers, so I used the 3 butterflies and I'm using 5 pebbles. I don't always go by this rule. Sometimes I do it without really noticing that I'm doing it. Supposedly it's a little bit more eye-pleasing. I don't always go by that rule. It's definitely not something that you have to do, but it is something that I've heard. And it is something that is done in photography as well. All right, so I am going to be adding a sticker. This is a sticker from the Cotton Candy Dreams collection from 7 Dot Studios, which is one of my favorites, and it happened to be the same color combination, the like teal with the orange. I love these colors together, and I love the saying. It says "Dance in the Rain." All right, so now I'm going to be adding some soft gel, and this way I can add some art stones, and I'm going to be adding some mini art stones, and no, I'm just going to be adding some regular art stones today. And I add a little bit of the gel where I want the art stones, and then I'm going to be mixing some gel with the art stones. I like doing it this way so that I don't have to mix in too much gel so that the art stones will stick together. I found that when I add too much gel mixed in with the art stones, it loses a lot of that texture. So again, I'm adding a little bit of the gel to my actual project, and then I'll add just a tad gel to mix in with the art stones so that they just barely stick together, and then I will press them in to the gel that I added to the project. I hope this is making sense. I absolutely love the texture that the art stones give, and I add some just kind of randomly on to the chipboard pieces. underneath the flowers so that they're kind of peeking out on the flowers. I'm just going to continue to add the art stones to the layout, and that is going to complete my layout for today. Again, there is no photo for this challenge, and I really do absolutely love how this turned out. I love the colors and the composition. I kind of had a hard time with the composition, only because I couldn't use a photo. So it really is a challenge. So be sure to check out the Nomadic Soul Diaries, over on Instagram, and be sure to play along. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you haven't done so already. And again, if you are new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Here's a couple more videos you might enjoy. And I want to thank you guys again for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.